Hello Archivists, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new. We're Six-Sided Scribes. My name's Nihal, and today we've got a returning guest, Marcus.
Hi.
So, if you don't remember, Marcus was here a while back playing Jugs with his Drukhari against the Thousand Suns. I'll put a link in the description to that video if you haven't seen it yet. But today, Marcus has brought his well-painted Blood Angels.
Oh, thank you very much. New army, so I'm very excited to see how they go.
And today we're doing a boarding actions mission, which is going to be really fun, really intense, and I get to bring out my sisters for the second time ever. So this
Lots of new models.
lots of new models. So straight off the bat, if I make any mistakes, guys, please pardon me. Let me know in the comments. I love the sisters. They're a fantastic army to play, and I would love to learn to play them better. So yeah. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of videos. There's a few games out there. We try to have fun, try to be a bit creative. We're also up on socials, so you can look us up on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Six-Sided Scribes. And if you're already doing that, thank you. We appreciate the support. But besides that, do you want to get into the list?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get into the list.
So I'm back on the channel today. I'm bringing Blood Angels this time. This is a new army for me. I'm bringing 500 points on the nose with lots and lots of bodies. That means that I have a +1 to advance and charge, as well as +1 to wound. Being Space Marines, I have combat doctrines. In the assault doctrine, I'll have +1 attack because I'm Blood Angels. Starting with my list, I'm bringing a Primaris Lieutenant with Storm Shield, Neo Volkite Pistol, and Power Sword. His Warlord trait's going to be Expert Breaches. That's going to mean that I can actually open doors mid-movement. That's going to help build on my board control. For troops, I'm bringing Assault Intercessors bare bones with no upgrades, and Incursors. Both of these are 5-man squads. I really want to try and spread them out and get a lot of board control. For elites, I'm bringing a unit of 3 aggressors with the bolters and grenades upgrades. These are some tough bodies that are going to provide some cover fire for the rest of my comparatively squishy boys. I'm also bringing some Death Company today. They're going to be in the Assault Marine variant. So they'll have their chainswords and special bolt pistols. They also have been upgraded to have 1 Thunderhammer. Finally, I'm bringing a squad of Reavers because no one gets to see them. I don't think they've been viable to take for a while, but being cheap, I think that they're going to be really great for this army. It means that I got to bring another squad. I'm going to have even more board control, and Blood Angels are sort of the best best company chapter to bring them because it's punchy on punchy. So that's my list. We'll see how it fares, and let's get to my opponent Nihal's list.
Alright, so for my sisters today, I have brought 498 points of Adepta Sororitas from the Order of the Bloody Rose. The Order of the Bloody Rose is basically, they've got twofold benefits. First is when they charge, get charged, or heroically intervene, they get +1 attack, which is basically shock assault from the Space Marines. But in addition to that, on the charge, or when they get charged or heroically intervene, they also get +1 AP on all their weapons. But to get into the guts of it, let's start with my HQ. I've got my Canoness. She has a Blessed Blade as a melee weapon, and she has a Condemner bolt gun because that is by far my favorite weapon ever. It's a crossbow on a bolter. She also has a upgrade that I've given her for points, which is Word of the Emperor. For the Word of the Emperor, the passive ability that always stays on is she has a 3-inch aura where she can point at a unit in the fight phase and make it fight last. So that'll come in really handy given we're going to be stuck into combat a lot. And the once per game miraculous ability that she has is in the miraculous range, so 1 inch, 3 inches, or 6 inches, depending on the miracle dice. She can actually turn off inmons. So that will also come in handy into Marcus's army. So given it's Space Marines, then it's going to be an uphill battle for me. Next up, while we're on characters, I'm going to go with my No Force Orc slot because I'm actually allowed to take one as part of the rules for the Adepta Sororitas. And the one that I've got here is a Repentia Superior. So she's pretty basic, just has a whips, has a bow pistol. Her job is to just make the Repentia a lot better and give them all her buffs and benefits. Into the troops, I have just a bare bones 5-strong squad of Battle Sisters. Sister Superior has a chainsword, and I've got one of them in there with a Ministerial Flamer. So might come in handy, especially for Overwatch, but let's see how we go. Moving on to elites, I have 2 squads of Repentia to be buffed by the aforementioned Repentia Superior. They've got the Eviscerators, they've got their 5 of Filmer Pains, because the Faith of the Emperor is all they need to, well, eviscerate. Also in the elites, I've got a squad of 5 Ark of Flagellants. So these ones I'm actually able to take in squads of either 3, 5, or I think 8 or 10, one or the other. I've chosen to go with 5. One of which has the Endurant Implants upgrade. So it's a bit more points, bit more punch, I think. They just have a few more attacks to them. Let's see how we go. Moving into fast attacks, I have one singular squad of Dominions. Not sure how I'll go with their pre-game move in boarding actions, but I've taken them for the fact that they've got Artificer Stormbolters, 2 damage each, so anything that gets through will basically drop an Intercessor. That's my hope for my Dominion squad. All of that comes up, as I said, to 498 points, and with that, let's get into the mission and deployment. So the mission we're playing is mission 1-3 from the Ark of Omen Abaddon book. It's called The Pipeline, and you should be seeing the map coming up any second now. You can see that we've got our designated deployment zones on the map, in the red and the green, of course. This is also a 4-objective mission, and scoring is actually quite simple. You just have to get onto objectives, get your opponent off them, and hold them for yourself. And you get 5 points at the end of each of your command phases for each of the following conditions that you meet. One is if you're holding 1 objective, if you're holding 2 objectives, if you're holding more objectives than your opponent, if you're holding all the objectives labeled A, of which there are 2, and if you're holding all the objectives labeled B, again, of which there are 2. So that's basically the mission, and with that, let's get into deployment.
So you've joined us in deployment. I won the roll-off and decided to deploy second, so I'm the attacker and Nahal will be the defender. For my deployment, I've put my Death Company over here. I've moved my Reavers using their forward deploy 6 inches away from my deployment zone to get that objective early. And I've put my Tough Boys over here. With my lieutenant and my aggressors.
For me, I've had to change my plans on the fly at the last second because when we were deploying, we actually figured out that you can only deploy 1 unit in each deployment zone, with the exception of the Warlord. So that really messes up my entire game plan. Anyway, moving on, I have my basic Battle Sister squad over here with my Warlord, my Canoness. And over on the far end, I've got my Ark of Flagellants, who I think in the early game now will just be sort of opening doors and doing stuff. Over on this side, I have my Dominions. So the reason I put them up so far out is because they do have a 6-inch pregame move that will really come in handy for me. But that's basically what it is. I do not think that this is going to go too well for me. But yeah, that's basically the plan. And yeah, okay, let's see how quickly they can die. But Ready when you are, Marcus? Shall we roll off to see who goes
rolling off.
first? 4 and a 6. The sisters go first. Okay. I do also have to pick my sacred right, which I pick at the start of the game. I'm gonna go with the passion. So what that means is I now get exploding sixes in combat, which is the one that you always want to take with Bloody Rose. But with that, let's move on. So we're back at the end of the movement phase for the sisters. Couple of admin things. I think I forgot to mention when we went over the lists that my Canoness also has the enhancement for expert breaches, which means she can also open doors instantly. That's come in handy right now. But moving back to command phase, I rolled for my miracle dice. I got a 1. Don't know where I'll use that, but might come in handy. My Dominions did their 6-inch pre-game move, ended up there. At the start of the movement phase, my Canoness moved up over here, opened that door. And then my Dominions proceeded to advance. Just got a 1 on the advance, which is why just the one lady is inside the door. Over here, my Battle Sisters just moved up 6 inches and did the action to secure that objective. On the other end over here, my Ark of Flagellants just moved up and opened that door. So I have now opened up all my deployment zones for my next wave to come back out. That is hopefully the plan. So it's been a really quick turn 1 for the sisters. All they did was hold that one objective in the pipeline. And with that, let's move on to the Blood Angels, turn 1.
You've joined us for a very exciting turn 1. The Reavers have gone over here. They're trying to secure this objective. Just trying to bring them out of line of sight, so next turn they can't get shot. So my Death Company, after some deliberation, advanced. They're holding that door, kind of like a countercharge option. I don't want to open it yet because I don't know if I want to put more units in that side of the board. My aggressors are going to be set to Overwatch in case these models want to move around and try and secure that objective. And my HQ is backing them up. My lieutenant's backing them up. So that's turn 1 and end of battle round 1. Very exciting. On to battle round 2 and now.
Just a bit of a side note. We were going through the rules as this is like our second boarding actions game ever, and we realized that we were initially playing it a bit wrong, but we caught ourselves before we did. So the way we deploy was you only deploy 1 unit per deployment zone, and then the next unit comes on. Any other units that are left stay in reserves, and they come on at the reinforcement step of the movement phase, but starting from the first turn. So we had to backtrack a little bit, Marcus and I, and we both agreed that, because nothing really happened in turn 1, given that we just moved and all our deployment zones were empty, we could just bring our reinforcement steps back on. So we backtracked a little bit. We'll go through Marcus and my movements again, but effectively at the end of the reinforcement step, I brought on a squad of Repentia in this deployment zone, and I brought in a squad of Repentia in this deployment zone. And that's basically what I did. And Marcus, do you want to explain what you did?
So similarly, I brought on my Assault Intercessors and my Incursors into these 2 deployment zones.
Okay, so this is where we ended up at the end of turn 1. And now we'll go back to the game and we'll be back to you at the end of the Sisters of Battle turn 2. So turn 1, I scored 5 points just from the one objective that I was holding. Thought it'd be a little more conservative in turn 2 as well. So you'll see that it's a bit more cagey. So first things first, rolled a miracle dice. This time I got a 5. So I've got 2 dice in my miracle pool now. One's a 1 and the other's a 5. Besides that, everything else is moved up and I can take you through it now. So again, pretty conservative. My Repentia moved up here, just opened this door. Over here, it's a bit of a mess. The Dominions, again, just moved up over here, didn't do anything, just stayed there. My Canoness moved up back to this door, did not open it. As you can see, it's a bit of a staging area there. So the Repentia, again, moved up, back to the door, that is still shut. And my Repentia Superior moved on to the board now. So all the pieces, I think, are in place. These sisters over here moved off of this objective, especially after they've secured it, so don't really need to be anywhere near it anymore. But they've moved up against this wall, just so if the Reavers come across, I get a bit of cover against them. And they've decided to set to Overwatch. So that's the sisters there, ready to Overwatch in case something comes into the line of sight. And over here, my Ark of Flagellants just moved up to this door and again stayed the hand from opening it. That's, I think, my turn 2 done. Pretty quick game again, but again, playing a little conservative because I am aware of the fact that my sisters are only toughness 3 and have 1 wound each against all those Astartes. So a headlong battle is not going to work too well for me. So I'm just going to try and be a little more smarter about this. Besides that, yeah, that's my turn 2. And turn 3, I reckon, is going to be a lot more bloody. Don't you think, Marcus?
Okay, so you're joining me at the end of my movement and pretty much the end of my turn for Blood Angels. So at the start of my turn, I got 5 points for this objective. I advanced my Assault Intercessors into this wall to be scary around this door. The Death Company opened this door. The Reavers moved to this door and opened it. The Incursors moved to this door and opened it. And my Lieutenant and Aggressors have both been moved this way and both been set to Overwatch. So that's the end of my turn. Lots of bodies and lots of scary threats for Nihal. So we'll see how he tries to get out for turn 3 and if it's not going to be too difficult for him.
Okay, so turn 3 of the Adepta Sororitas. I forgot that now sisters actually get miracle dice every turn. So Marcus and I had a chat and I basically rolled for 2 other miracle dice. So far I've got miracle dice 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If I get a 6, it's a Yahtzee. Of which I used one of my miracle dice in the movement phase just to sort of guarantee me some movement. But we'll take you through it in a second. So in the command phase, I use my Repentia Superior to point at this squad of Repentia. So that basically gives them +1 to wound and advance and charge on 3d6, pick the highest. She herself advanced, I used one of the miracle dice for 3, just so she could get there in range of both Repentia squads. So this Repentia squad just moved through this door, ended up over here. So now they're going to try and see if they can push their way past the Space Marines. It's going to be hilarious if bare bones girls can basically push past power armor Space Marines, but it'll be hilarious. Anyway, my Dominions just moved over here. They've got line of sight of the Death Company over there. I do not like them. This squad of Battle Sisters moved up as well. They have line of sight of the Incursors over there, so something could or could not happen. Let's see how we go. Sorry, so I'm going to open up this door with my Ark of Flagellants, who basically just stood still, and now Marcus can overwatch with his aggressors into them, and let's see how we go. So now that that's the end of the movement phase, we're going to try and see if the Battle Sisters, if the Repentia can actually push past these Space Marines and get the door open. It's going to be hilarious if they do. Alrighty, roll off. Oh, it's 5 and a 6.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. So does the door open? The door says shut.
You're joining us back for Overwatch, so the aggressors are going to use their bulk gauntlets, and we're going to be hitting on 6s.
Okay.
So 1 goes through.
6 up cover save. Nope. 5 up, feel no pain. Nope. Okay, one of them takes a wound.
Okay, and now it's 3d6 shots with their grenade launchers. So again, hitting on 6s, winning on 4s.
Reroll.
Reroll because of the lieutenant.
6 up save. 5 up, feel no pain. Alrighty, let's start shooting. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Dominions, who can actually see this gentleman over here, and we're going to put all our bolt guns into him. Okay, so the white dice are the Artificer Stormbolters into the Death Company there. The red dice are from the Sister Superior that just has a regular bolt gun. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, wounding on 4s, and here we go, 6. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 saves at AP 02 damage and 1 save at AP 01 damage.
These will be at 2 up saves.
Okay, 2
You
die.
can CP reroll. You got CP. You're doing nothing with it.
2 go through. I will reroll 1. So 1 goes through. And I have a 6 up feel no pain because they're Death Company.
Okay.
So 1 takes 1 wound.
Okay. Damage.
And then the 1 at 1 damage. So 2 up save.
Makes that.
Makes that. So
Perfect.
1's taken 1 wound.
Okay. Okay. Let's go with these sisters into your incursors over there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the flamer, actually. 2 shots from the flamer. 2 wounds, AP nothing from the flamer.
So
Two bombs.
2 up saves because of cover.
Okay. Takes 1 wound.
Takes 1 wound.
6 bolt guns. And they are wounding on 4s.
So 2 up save because of cover.
Makes them.
Makes
Nice.
both.
That's the end of my shooting phase. This door not opening was a little bit frustrating, but then again, they're girls in rags versus powered space marine. So I may have had my hopes up a little bit over there, but the Emperor does not disappoint. Let's get into charges. Okay, so we've had some charges to be made because I was really getting bored of playing KG and I just wanted to be a bit more aggressive. It's more of a stupid move, I know, but we're here to have fun, not overthink things. So with that said, I got a 10 on my Ark of Flagellants. They are doomed to die with those aggressors over there, but anyway, it was bound to happen. My Battle Sisters charged over here, went into the Incursors. Over here, I did the Repentia, 3d6, picked the highest. I spent a CP to reroll that charge, but got a 5, which was just barely enough to get them into combat. The Repentia Superior followed in with an 11 on her charge, and she's made it in. And that is where we have ended up. So let's start with the fight phase. So we're going to start with the Repentia because this time we did something stupid. So let's see what we can do. 1s from the Cannonass, wounding on 2s into the Death Company. 2 of them, I will spend a CP to reroll that. Yep, that's 3 wounds at AP 5.
Goes straight through their armor, but they have 6 up feel no pain. So we're doing this 2 at a time until the first one dies. So he's dead. And then the next one saves, survives. So
and the third one
only killed 2. So with that, I'm going to pay 2 CP to interrupt.
Okay.
And I'll interrupt with these guys. And I'll also pay for 1 CP to get the Blood Angels exploding 6s stratagem from Angron. We'll be back to you when I work out how many attacks I get. These 3 models can actually fight, can make combat. So a sergeant and 2 of the other guys. So it comes out to
those many attacks.
these many attacks, and it's exploding 6s. So wounding on 2s.
Oof. See, 5s. And that is the squad dead. Okay, so now that there's no more interrupts left, doesn't really matter. So let's go with the Repentia Superior. 3s. That's 2 explodes. No, wounding back on 4s.
So this is going to be 5s followed by 6s.
And over here, my Ark of Flagellants will now go into the aggressors. This is going to be fun. So these are the attacks from the Ark of Flagellants. So the red ones are the one with the endurance implants. So they all hit on 4s. And the endurance implants wound on 4s, the other ones wound on 5s.
So it's going to be a 4-up save.
I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and pick the Ark of Flagellants up, but I want to see how much of a pulp they end up in. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with sacrificing my own units.
So this many attacks on 4s. And then 2s re-rolling 1s because of the lieutenant.
Already 2's -1
Okay, so I just don't have a save, so I just get a 5-up Field of Pain. So I'll just re-roll any successes. Yeah, so my exuberance was premature. I miscalculated, but turns out, as expected, the Ark of Flagellants are dead. Now let's see what else he can kill before the Space Marines just end up walking right through the sisters.
I'm going to put my Thunderhammer into the superior 4s.
Let's see if I can get 4 6s. Just the one. Oh well, she's dead. And I get another miracle dice at the end of the phase for sacrifice. That's a 2.
Putting the chainsword into these guys, so this will be hitting on 3s.
5 Field of Pains. Makes 1, which means 3 out of the 4 die. Okay, I think I just owe you morale on the 1 Repentia Superior that's still there. I will use the 1 that's on my miracle dice to use that, and then just auto pass my morale. Cool, so that's done. Now, this has been bloody. We put the blood in Blood Angels and Bloody Rose. More Bloody Rose than Blood Angels blood. Oh well, that's how the blood bloods. That's pretty much the end of my turn. Do you want to bring this game home now, Marcus?
Yeah, let's see it on turn 3 for Blood Angels.
Alrighty, let's be back.
So opening in on turn 3 for the Blood Angels. These guys were no longer in combat, so they didn't have to fall back. They could actually move. And I brought my Reavers around just to get some shots around and maybe some charges. My Assault Intercessors haven't moved, but they're going to try and do the strength test for that door in a moment.
Yep.
I brung the Incursors around to get some line up some shots over here, and the Lieutenant's backing them up. The Aggressors are holding this objective.
Cool.
So now let's go for a strength test.
Alrighty. 5. Yep, that door says shut.
Okay, stays shut. Oh well.
The sisters hold.
Um.
And on that note, I also rolled for a miracle dice, and I got a 3.
Okay, so the Reavers are going to shoot their pistols into this Repentia. It's going to be 3s followed by 3s. And then
5 on Film of Pain. Close. I'll spend a CP and reroll that. Nope, she does.
So these 2 will shoot her. 3s followed by 3s. So 1 miss. 1 save.
Makes that.
So these guys will be shooting into these guys. 2 can make line of sight. So it's going to be 4 shots. 3s followed by 3s. And re-rolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. Alright, so charges.
Yep.
I'll charge my Reavers into this character.
Yep.
She's not set to Overwatch, so I can just go. While we're at it, these 2 will charge into those 2, or that unit. And lastly, this squad will try and get there as well.
Okay.
Whew. And they get an 11.
Alrighty. We'll probably just move all our models, and we'll come back just in time for me to pick mine up off the board.
Fighting first are going to be these 2 Death Company into this squad of 5. The white dice will be the Chainsword, and the red dice are going to be the Thunderhammers.
Yep.
So this will be 3s and 4s followed by 2s.
And 5s on the Thunderhammers. Nope, that's a squad. We failed to mention earlier that the Canoness used her Word of the Emperor to make the Reavers fight last, so she might as well go into them now. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s with the Blessed Blade, exploding 6s from the Passion. So wounding on 3s
So these will be 6s, and each one that I fail
is a dead guy.
will be a dead Marine. There are now 2 units on the board for my opponent.
Yep.
And I'm confident, but not super confident. I'm optimistic that these guys are going to wreck something. I don't know what they're going to wreck, but they're going to wreck something. And I'm hoping that what I have left can deal with them. We'll find out after Nihal's next turn, which will be joining you next time.
So, turn 4 for the sisters. Really quick movement phase. I rolled my miracle dice, got my third 2, which is one of the most useless dice rolls in the game, but you didn't hear that from me. And so my Repentia over here just moved up a little bit. They're going to try and fight over that door again. If they can open it, they might go into the
Assault Intercessors.
Assault Intercessors. If not, I might send them into the Death Company. So, because either way, they will come and take that objective from me if I don't stop them. Anyway, with that, my Canoness also moved around over here. Shield's just going to be out of an inch. Okay, so let's start fighting over the door and see if that opens. 5 and a 6. It's still tied, so the door still stays shut. And let's start shooting. I will use my Canoness. I will fire both profiles from a gun, the Condemn Mistake and the bolt guns in red. So I will actually use my Miracle Dice for the Condemn Mistake and put that as a hit. Now for the bolt guns, let's see what happens. They also hit. Cool. And we need, so force to wound across the board.
So 3 ups. Yeah, I'm going to spend a CP. So
Okay.
that's fine.
Yep. And the 4 up.
So 4 up. 6s to ignore.
No other shooting left to be done. Let's charge, I guess. So I'm gonna have to check the original plan. Get the Canoness to charge the Incursors, with the Repentia charging into the Death Company. So Canoness into the Incursors. Snake Eyes. Yep, I shall CP roll that, so that puts me to 3. I will actually just use 2 Miracle Dice, make it a 4-inch. And the Repentia into the Death Company. Canoness will basically get the Death Company to fight last, put all her attacks into the Incursors. So Power Sword hitting on 2s. Oh wow, quite the opposite way this time. I have to spend a CP and reroll one of these. Okay, and that's an explode. Wounding on 3s. Okay, now for the Repentia into the Death Company. Hitting on 4s, rerolling ones from the Canoness. Yeah, in a second. These ones are wounding on 3s because you so rudely killed my Repentia Superior.
Say both or 1 dies.
1 dies.
1 dies.
Okay.
My Death Company Thunderhammer is going to go into the Repentia. 4s followed by 2s. 2s.
In one from Shield of Faith. Okay, so the first one makes it! And the second one, nope, does not make that. So 1 Repentia dies in the process.
These Incursors going into the Canoness. I'm spending 1 CP on Red Rage, so this will be exploding 6s. So it's going to be 3s to hit. Forgetting anything? Oh, yeah. 2s plus it's going to be minus
1. So 4 up in 1 on the Canoness. Come on. So my Canoness is dead to the wound. Now for Blood Angel's turn 4 and what's left of the sisters. That's 3 models. We'll be back after Blood Angel's movement phase, turn 4.
So here we are at the start of Blood Angels turn 4. There are 3 models on the table for my opponent.
For now.
For now. Let's see where I can go.
Okay.
Where I can take this. So after movement, my aggressors are going to move. They're going to shimmy and do the action to get that objective. Oh, sorry. My lieutenant advanced 5 plus 1 because of Blood Angels meant that it could go from here to here. Holding that objective. My incursors are just moving around a little bit. Might try and do maybe a multi-charge, just get a lot of bodies on this objective. No matter what happens next, I'll hold it.
Yep.
And my assault intercessors, similar deal.
Cool.
So onto the shooting phase, it's just 1 pistol into these guys. So hits, wounds on a 3.
6 of field of paint. Makes that.
Okay. So may as well roll some charges.
Yep.
So I'll go with the assault intercessors first. They've made it with a 10. And then I'll put these guys into these guys as well. They'll make it with a 6.
7 and
7.
11. Yep.
All right, we'll bring it back, but I think it might be the end of the sisters.
Yeah, a little bit. At this point, is it worth us even rolling dice? I don't think so.
Well, just volume of attacks.
Yeah.
I think you can pull those.
Yeah.
Knowing that both squads are in, that means I hold the objective.
Correct. So at this point, like, you've got all the objectives and you'd get more points for holding, I think, objective A, holding more, holding 1 and 2 anyway. I'd say this game is, well, if you couldn't tell already, if you couldn't tell already, like, yeah, a little bit. Okay, so I guess this is a clear Blood Angels victory. We shall basically add up our scores and come back to you for the post-game debrief. And welcome back. This is the end of our game. Really close up until the end. I think you literally just got your advantage in turn 5. Because we were pretty much tied up until turn 4.
I think going into it though,
Yeah.
when I turned up with so many bodies, like for Space Marines, I had more models
Yeah.
than a Sisters army, which just shouldn't really be happening.
Yeah, that shouldn't scan, should it? But yeah. And that was one. And the second thing was when we actually figured out that, yeah, you can only bring in as many units as deployment zones plus your warlord. So that threw my plan out because I had to stagger my Repentia coming on. It was either that or bring out my Repentia in 2 places and my Repentia Superior on the other side of the board. Nowhere near the buffs. So, yeah, it was a bit of an executive decision that I made there. But that hurt too. That hurt bad. I was laughing.
Well, I got to play boarding action for the first time. I got to play my Blood Angels for the first time. I had a great time. And new model syndrome, I'm really upset that the Reavers never saw combat. I think they got 1 round of shooting.
Yeah.
But it's alright.
Yeah, I need some more models to add to my sister's game as well, I think. For me, next up, I might look into getting Celestial Sacrosancts. Let us know what you think I should get next for my sisters. I've only got 1,500 points. So they're a very fledgling army. But I'd like to get your inputs on what you think could be a really good addition to Sisters Boarding Patrol. But I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. But until we see you next time, please remember to like this video if you like this sort of content. Subscribe to our channel. Check us up on socials again. Big thank you for coming back on, Marcus. I really love playing you and your beautifully painted armies every single time. Again, in the description, there's a link to the game that Marcus had come on last time with his Drukhari. So that was a fun Tempest game as well. But until we see you next time, remember that we've been Six-Sided Scribes and let the stories roll.